Hey everyone, Simon here with a review of Alpaca Ball Allstars. Alpaca Ball Allstars is a 1 to 8 player party-based football style game that's available for PC and Nintendo Switch. You can have remote play on Steam, which allows you to pull in your mates and have a good old time online if you want to. The game has a physics-based focus to it, but not in a way that's completely crazy and negates the need of skill. You need to know what you're doing, but it's got just enough chaos in to cause some really stupid and hilarious results, and that's exactly the sweet spot that I was hoping Alpaca Ball would go for, and it nails it bang on. You can play 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3 and 4 versus 4 in various different arenas to try and basically use your massive long neck and head to spank the ball into the opposite team's goal. You do this by running around and pressing one button to jump, but as I was playing on the PC with an Xbox controller, when you press B, it then kind of throws your head in one rotation so that you shoot the ball forward. If you then press the X button, it will then rotate your head and neck the other way so that it's as if you're passing backwards. And once you kind of get used to one pushes the ball one way, one pushes ball the other way, that is all you need to know about Alpaca Ball to really get into the mix of the game and get going. It's a really low barrier to entry, but it's a crazy amount of fun, especially when you've got 8 alpacas running around a stadium, spanking their necks and heads into each other to try and get that ball and get it into the goal. There is some more nuance to the gameplay, and I'll go into that in a second. But I just wanted to also acknowledge the fact that if you've got an odd number of players, you can do 2 versus 3 and 3 versus 4. You can't do 2 versus 4 or 1 versus 7, which would just be unfair. But yeah, it does support odd numbers of players, which I found helpful. Also, you can fill out the rest of a team with AI competitors as well, which is what most of the gameplay that you're seeing here on this review is about. The AI works really well, and it works really well as a team as well, because if you've got 4 alpacas on each side, one of them will automatically go into goal, and then the other 3 will kind of chase after the ball, or one might hold back a bit and be like, I'm going to wait for you. So it doesn't become like a chase the ball carnage fest, and I really appreciated that. Great quality AI in a primarily multiplayer experience goes such a long way to making a game really, really wholesome. So 2 thumbs up and thank you for that. When you actually get into the game itself, the alpaca handles really quite responsively. And what I really like, and I'll try and explain how the physics works, it's not as crazy as something like Human Fall Flat or something like that, where you're kind of exploding everywhere. But the whole nuance is around how your neck connects with the ball and the head with the ball, and how you connect with other players. Because if you spank your heads together, you kind of get dizzy and you can't move for a second or two. And that's key to it, because you can use your other alpaca team members in aggressive tactics to knock out the other alpacas for a split second so that someone can yoink in and gain control of the ball. What will also happen as well, because you've got a jump button and there's also power shots and things like that that you can have. Quite often, alpacas will all end up in a massive tangled mess, and then they'll explode out, and so you'll see one of your teammates flying across the screen. It's so stupid, but it's so much fun, and it's really Moorish as well. Adding into that, you've got this really bright, colourful carnival aesthetic. The game leans heavily into the South American-inspired locations, obviously alpacas, quite often down that way. And the idea around this is that it's like the Brazilian World Cup, but it's alpacas. So you travel around different locations and they're really well put together. They all play the same, and nothing really has any different physics necessarily or any kind of nuance to the goals. But it does create a completely different feel, and the soundtrack is absolutely glorious. I really love South American music at the best of times, and this is just like Carnival Party going on in your brain as you see rainbow-coloured alpacas exploding around the screen. What more do you want? What's also really good is that there's different balls in play as well. So the rugby ball will handle completely differently to the beach ball, to the football. There's also a bomb which does explode, and if you're near it, it will send you flying. So you've got like slightly different versions of football that you can play with as you go through. And that really adds up spice to the mix, because you can have like a traditional football-y style, like in your back garden game. But if you want to go absolutely nuts, bring out the ice hockey puck and let it fly around, because it doesn't get air, but it will go exceptionally fast. The other thing that I wanted to bring your attention to is Alpaca Ball Allstars has a really interesting way of dealing with power-ups. They're not collected. They're randomly assigned to different players. So you're just gifted a power-up, and it will rotate round all of the players, so you'll all get a go. But what it means is that you need to kind of plan ahead for that, because some of the power-ups are quite powerful and will help you, like 7 times out of 10, potentially score a goal. Like there's one where if you hit the ball when you've got the power-up with your head, it will like bring out a theremin, and it will turn into like a UFO, and it will kind of go woo woo and like fly towards the goal, but like in a meandering way, so it's difficult to kind of block. That's really powerful. And if you're only 1 goal ahead, or you're on evens and you see someone gets that power up, you're immediately like, everyone to the goal, so that you can kind of like make an alpaca gate to stop it coming through. Own goals in this game, 10 to the dozen, because of some of the unpredictability. But it's never to the point of feeling random. It always feels like you're in control. The power-ups, because they're evenly spread out, although they're randomised of what you get, therefore feel quite fair, because everyone gets to have a power-up. So you might be shrinking your opponents. You might be able to have an extra long neck, which can be really handy to kind of swoop in and yank the ball from someone. There's lots of different types, and they all are very useful. So yeah, outside of the multiplayer matches, which is where the bulk of your time you'll be spending with the game is, there is a comprehensive single player campaign mode, and it works similar, I guess, to like how Overcooked games work, where you'll like trot around a little world map, unlocking more customization options for alpacas as you go through different areas, going up against different scenarios where it might be 2 versus 1, or it might be that you get one of your mates on board, but this time it's with the rugby ball or the puck or something like that when you get to like the icier sounding locations. It's wholesome, it's good fun, it's silly tongue-in-cheek humour in between the levels, but I really appreciate that there is a proper campaign in there. And you can then go out and play with the AI in just general matchups, so that you can enjoy all the fun and games that there is with Alpaca Ball. I strongly recommend this game. I'm not a football lover. I don't play football games. I don't particularly enjoy it. Well, I don't enjoy the sport at all in real life. But this has been an absolute joy and treat and blast to play. And this will be permanently on my multiplayer rotation list for a very, very, very long time to come. Very much enjoyed it. A written review for Alpaca Ball Allstars will be out on highplanegames.com at the weekend. Until then, get your alpaca balls out and get playing. Bye for now. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a collection of media projects ran by me. If you like what you see and want to find out more, visit patreon.com/Higher Plane Network. Your support can make so much more possible, be that a like, a comment, a share, or a pledge. Thanks for watching.